Fun so far, and for those of you who are just joining us, we know we've got some of you who have only been stopped by for a couple minutes now. We're well underway with round number 1 of the Swish portion of the event. We just saw the first match, and we have plenty more matches going on. One of the other matches that we've been keeping track of closely is Tom60229 versus PUSHMAN, who's a tavern hero from Japan. So made it through that big tavern hero bracket yesterday. And we're going to actually jump right into the action. This match happened a little bit earlier on. It actually just concluded a few minutes ago. We're going to jump into some of this action. Game number 2 of Tom versus PUSHMAN.
Yeah, and Tom, of course, playing from Taiwan, and been one of the most fantastic performers, I think, from the Asia-Pacific region over the course of his years. And PUSHMAN's this is a big opponent for him early on in the rounds. You come through the Tavern Hero, you play against one of the most well-known players from the region. What a tall task.
Yeah, well, Tom is one of the higher seeds, and the Tavern Heroes, get those lower seeds. So we'll have to see. Tom now in the Pirate Warrior mirror. He's facing down a small-time Buccaneer and a Patches, but that's a pretty good hand of his own. He's got the coin, which, the coin is usually better in the mirror matchup because there's not really many power drops on 2 for Warrior other than Fireworks. Allows you to coin out one of those 3 drops, which can really snowball a game, whether it be Bloodsoul Cultist, Frothy Berserker, or Sassy Captain, which is in Tom's lineup and also in his hand at the moment.
Yeah, oftentimes this matchup becomes very interesting with the way that the resources pan out. It's not as simple as just play your minions and bludgeon your opponent to death as quickly as possible, which when you think about Pirate Warrior is basically what they're trying to do. But when the cards are evenly matched, it often turns into a value battle. The player with the last remaining resource, or the player who gets the most value out of one card, tends to be the victor in this one. And early on, PUSHMAN's hand not looking good for that sort of value battle. So when he's forced into a single line of play here, if Tom's got the right cards, PUSHMAN, it's difficult for him to really generate anything on board. Tom's got all minions, PUSHMAN's got all weapons.
A double Arcanite Reaper for PUSHMAN. That is not what you want to see in the opening hand, especially staring at this type of board. His Bloodsoul Raider can do some work, and he can clear off with Heroic Strike. He picks up a 1-drop Pirate, so the 1-drop Pirate's going to help, but small-time Buccaneer, unless you have a weapon, is pretty weak at a 1-2 stat line.
Yeah, it's also matching up really poorly versus Tom's board right now. We saw him play N'Zoth's first mate on turn 1, and he didn't play the Finley so that if either of his Pirates lived, he could get that cultist value and start clearing off these early minions. Once this board is choked out and Tom can just deploy minion after minion, it's usually downhill from there for the opponent. So PUSHMAN, he's got to pick up some gas if he's going to win this game.
Yeah, this is an interesting spot for Tom. He's got the option to play Sassy Captain and trade into one of these 2-health minions, or he can get that Bloodsoul Raider online a little bit stronger immediately, and also can buff it next turn with a Sassy Captain and Finley. Sometimes you don't necessarily want to give up armor up early if you think it's going to be a grindy matchup, but Tom has seen that PUSHMAN's hand has been awkward. He hasn't had an early weapon. He was forced to play Bloodsoul Raider on 2 without a weapon to activate its increased attack. So I think he can just go with Finley plus Bloodsoul Raider here and not worry about the armor up and trade into one of these 2-health minions.
Yeah, I like the Captain personally. I think it's just the strongest on board. It plays to his curve very well. The second Captain always being a threat as well. Say PUSHMAN got down Frothy Berserker or drew a Bloodsoul Cultist on the following turn. I think this just plays super well to his curve, and there's not a lot of counterplay available.
Yeah.
Porcon Elite here would just be a simple trade on board already.
Yeah. Another Heroic Strike.
That's almost spelling the game already. I mean, Tom has full control over this with the minions being the driving force. Arcanite Reaper's a great card, but PUSHMAN getting punished for drawing a pair of Heroic Strikes and a pair of Arcanite Reapers here. And that's part of the risk of running Warrior, is that times you draw all of your bursty damage and you never actually get ahead.
He does have a lot of damage over the course of like the next 4 turns. Wow, another 1-drop Pirate.
Yeah, he really does. I mean, he has Steady Shot available and 2 Arcanite Reapers. I mean, over the course of 4 turns, he's got 24 damage just with what he has right now. But time is really his most precious resource at this moment. If he can't get the board, he's not going to have that time.
Mm-hmm. So let's take a look now at the options for Tom. He can small-time Buccaneer into Sassy Captain, but I think Bloodsoul Raider needs to come down this turn because this is probably the turn he's going to use that last charge of his weapon. He wants to increase attack. And putting multiple Pirates on board means that you're going to be able to get that Sassy Captain rolling and the buff's active immediately.
and a steady shot of his own. And the big one here for Tom is he just saw PUSHMAN develop nothing on the previous turn, so he's free to actually go wider on board and try to punish this with PUSHMAN. It's not as simple as just playing his best minion. Going wider on board when PUSHMAN doesn't respond spells good things for Tom.
PUSHMAN still has armor up, so no steady shot for him.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
But
I don't think it's steady shot.
I don't know. I'm sure.
Just used to it.
Yeah. But one thing to note is that armor up could mean something, especially with multiple weapons. You talked about it earlier, because sometimes this matchup can be, really grindy. If your opponent has an aggressive hero power and you have a defensive hero power, you can start removing stuff, try and run them out of resources, and then stick the last threat. And if you stick the last threat, sometimes that can win you a game. But the one thing you need is time, and PUSHMAN just doesn't have time right now. He doesn't have time to use all of these Arcanite Reaper charges.
Honestly, this is a curious attack to me too, because given his hand, his one chance to win the game is either Tom having no way to kill this Dread Corsair on the following turn, or to simply push face and hope that he draws more damage. And with 2 heroic strikes gone, it is a little bit more difficult to justify going strictly for a damage plan. So this actually might give him the best chance to win. Say Tom's hand is Leroy Jenkins, upgrade, or not upgrade, like just anything weak that'll stick to the board, like a South Sea deckhand or something. He's just got to hope he doesn't have the damage here. And Tom actually draws Fiery War Axe.
Yeah, probably the best draw in that situation because it allows him to preserve his board while still pushing damage and activating Small Time Buccaneer, which means he gets to attack for more with South Sea Captain. I think Tom should be able to run away with this game and close it out with Leroy Jenkins and the steady shot. It's going to offset the armor up. And again, PUSHMAN just doesn't have the weapon charges, or it doesn't have the resources to be able to buy enough time to use all these charges.
Yeah, this has gotten way out of hand. Even Frothing Berserker picked up now. And Tom's just, as you said, just won the value battle at this point. PUSHMAN, I think, just too limited by his options in this game. And that's how the cookie crumbles sometimes.
Yeah. He has to attack into this Frothing Berserker again.
It's not going to work.
Yeah. He's dead. Oh, well, Corcoran only picked up, so he can attack into Frothing Berserker without taking damage.
Whew, this is not good, though. Every single time that he simply answers one of Tom's minions, Tom's getting free damage.
Free damage. And Mortal Strike.
Free.
Mortal Strike picked up too.
Yeah, this looks like a Protect the Leroy turn for Tom. That's definitely a 6-2 is definitely a VIP minion in this matchup. PUSHMAN really no way to remove this other than the single copy of Mortal Strike left in his deck. If he gets South Sea deckhand, he can take this out alongside the Arcanite Reaper, but look at the life.
My favorite game to play as a kid on the playground. Protect the Leroy. Grew up with a kid named Leroy.
Yeah, okay. I was wondering how you picked who Leroy was. Like draw for straws or?
Yeah.
Oh no, we played Best of 7 Hearthstone.
No, it was always Leroy. He really hated it. Why are you protecting me? I don't know. Weird screams. Just a weird game overall. But Tom's playing it well.
Yeah, Mortal Strike, more than enough. And the steady shot, just enough. Really cruise control game there for Tom.
Yeah. PUSHMAN just sort of continued there at the end, had the ability to armor up, but knew that the game was over with the way that it panned out. So Tom, 2-0 lead in this series. And PUSHMAN, looks like a little bit unfortunate for him, drawing the double Arcanite Reaper. Tried to grind it out, tried to play that grinding game by removing every minion and trying to stick the last threat, but just didn't pan out for him. And now it's going to be a huge uphill battle for him in round 1.
Yeah.
And let's go and jump into game number 3 of this match. We'll see if Tom can complete the 3-0 sweep over PUSHMAN, who's living the Tavern Hero dream. But 0-1 start means bad things moving forward in a Swiss round.
Look at Tom's opening hand for this Pirate Warrior matchup. This very much more in PUSHMAN's wheelhouse. If he had double Arcanite Reaper here, I don't think he would have minded this match. Very much about PUSHMAN just simply pushing damage and hoping that Tom does not have the right answers for this early board state. But Reno Mage, well equipped with tools that when you draw them early on are fantastic versus what Pirate Warrior wants to set up. He's already got Volcanic Potion, he's already got Cabal Courier, he's already got Ice Block. If he could just keep this board under any semblance of control, it's a matter of time.
Yeah, or if he just draws Reno at any point too. That's definitely going to help. But this is the sort of removal start that you need. with Reno Mage that can win you the game without having to draw Reno.
Yeah, now it is really interesting that Pushman opened with Small Time Buccaneer rather than the N'Zoth's First Mate. Being able to threaten coin Bloodsail Cultist buys you a lot of long-term damage in this matchup, and Cultist a minion that's fairly resilient on board. The Small Time Buccaneer, it's usually good after your opponent uses their removal. It's a one-cost threat that oftentimes will just be 3 power, so him not playing that N'Zoth's First Mate is a little bit curious to me. I think that gets him more damage overall.
Now, if he knew that he was going to draw Fiery War Axe the following turn,
That's a good point.
then that was a great play, but he didn't. So, you know, I can understand if he sticks N'Zoth's First Mate the following turn, then he can maybe get more damage overall if all of his minions stick.
Ooh, Kazakus drawing.
Wow, Cabal Courier, let's see.
Wow.
I think we're going with Spell Slinger. Kazakus.
Kazakus is okay. Second Kazakus is fine.
Kazakus, probably the strongest single minion in the game if you have the activation for it, if you are running those Reno-style decks, just because it's so flexible. In Pirate Warrior, you can, you know, oftentimes choose a 1-mana spell to try and stifle the board, gain a little bit of health. If you know the game's going to go long, you can choose 5 mana to, you know, deal with those mid-game boards.
Yeah, Pushman actually going to trade in his South Sea deckhand here. Once again, I'm a little curious by this. He's sacrificing a lot of long-term damage for this. He's trying to just set up the Bloodsail Cultist here, but he's got his N'Zoth's First Mate in hand to override that weapon if it comes to that case. So that will be stuck in his hand. And here, if he attacks face with the South Sea Captain and with the patches, uses the axe to trade in, it starts really putting a lot of pressure on Tom to hero power down all the 1-health minions. It's going to take him multiple turns to catch up. So every time Pushman has a 1-health minion down, having an extra one to go alongside of it means that Tom is going to be forced off of that hero power very often.
That's a great point. He's sort of investing a lot into this Frothing Berserker as well. And Tom is going to remove it. It's using a lot of resources to be able to do so. Volcanic Potion can deal with wide boards, but knowing that Pushman's probably running out of minions with a hand that's sort of dwindling in resources, he thinks he can get away with using both those. If next turn he has the potential to go into Kazakus plus a 1-mana potion to try and deal with a board, maybe gain some life if he can select the 4 armor option.
Pushman's hand really not a slouch at the moment, though. Every single time that he's been answered, he's had more minions to reload. So he's keeping that pressure on Tom to have answers to what's going on. And now a really tough choice here, where, you know, does Tom want to just play Kazakus here and leave himself vulnerable to the Bloodsail Cultist? Does he want to use Forgotten Torch and delay the Kazakus? You know, he's got to get those online for them to really find their value, but is a 1-cost potion right now where its value's best. You know, there's really 2 different ways. It's Kazakus now for a 1-cost potion, and then roll into options, or it's Forgotten Torch hero power, and then go into Emperor Thorson, hope to unlock the Kazakus in 1 turn and get a lot of information there. But
all right, so Stone Scale Oil, gain 4 armor, summon a 2/2 demon, and summon a friendly minion that died this game. Summon a 2/2 demon and summon a friendly minion that have died this game are exactly the same, because Cabal Courier has died. I guess for the sake of Manic Soulcaster, summoning a minion that has died this game is better, so you can put a Cabal Courier in your deck, which gives you more time. But it is the same option. Also gets the gain 4 armor, so just build a little bit of a board. Maybe going to try and fight back next turn.
Pushman draws South Sea deckhand, and now here's the trouble with this turn. If Pushman had complete information about what Tom had, this would be a very easy cleanup on the board and continue the push. Like, just try to stay wide and keep the pressure on. But he has no idea what Tom has, and that's often going to lead him to simply just picking up as much damage as he can. But he attacks before he plays South Sea Captain, and if he's going to end up playing South Sea Captain, it is definitely right to play it first and pick up that extra damage. That leads me to believe that he will be trading this turn.
Yeah, or Mortal. Whoa, okay,
Wow.
so just a complete missed point of damage here for Pushman, not thinking through his turn.
Yeah, that's
all
just,
the way.
That's just a missed sequence. So that extra point of damage, it doesn't look like it's likely to cost him in this game. And Tom's still at 15, or at 17 rather, and I think that this is largely going to boil down to whether or not Tom can simply defend himself long enough. Wow, that's another.
Flame Strike a turn away. So he can go for Kazakus again and try and get another one mana. If he gets, deal 3 damage, 2 damage to all minions, he can clear the board. Forgotten Torch and a trade and an Ice Block development is also an option. If he's feeling real brave, trading the Sassy Captain, just slam Emperor Thorsan.
That's a risky one. It's a lot of damage you're staring at.
Yeah, that's probably the least likely of the options.
You take minimum 8 in that instance, and I think that's why Tom went for the Kazakus last turn. Is if PUSHMAN just had a way to develop, Emperor was off the table following that. So playing more aggressively to the board, I think, is a big benefit for him. Leaving that Forgotten Torch to play cleanup later on.
I have to agree with you with that one.
Time runs out on me.
Now he's running out of time. And so that, as the rope starts burning, that's sort of it makes a decision for you because you can't play Kazakus really to that point. Well, you can, but you got to be quick and think on your feet. But he goes ahead and develops the Ice Block, so he's got that layer of protection. Gives him an extra turn to find the Alexstrasza, find the Reno should he need it, find the extra damage.
Maybe even just have time to take a big Kazakus potion as well. The Flame Strike is clearing out the board no matter what. And so I think in this spot, Tom is hoping that the Kazakus actually gets attention here.
Mm-hmm. At least a weapon swing.
It is. It's pretty great for Tom.
Yeah, he's going to be at 13 health. PUSHMAN's going to have 2 cards going to the next turn with a clean board and a fresh Kazakus and an Arcane Intellect.
That is really big trouble for PUSHMAN. Flame Strike is such a key card as you roll into the later stages. Just having the ability to simply ignore what your opponent's been doing and then get that massive value, buy you all the time in the world. PUSHMAN operating on next to no resources in this spot. Unless Tom's Kazakus potion and his draws just fail miserably, it feels like he's got this one in the bag.
Yeah, no. Polymorph, maybe not the best draw. Just because there's not going to really be many big minions that you want to spend 4 mana to remove that you wouldn't be able to remove otherwise. He's going to go with Kazakus. Goes with 1 mana again.
Yeah, I don't think too much of a surprise. 3 damage and 4 armor are definitely ones he's looking for very often in a spot like this. Just trying to buy himself any time. And a 1-cost potion will also allow him to use Arcane Intellect alongside this.
Add a random demon to your hand. I guess that was the best out of his other options.
Access.
Let's see.
Certainly would be one of his best pickups.
Let's take a look. Wait, man.
Yeah, inverse pickup there for Tom. So half of his potion effectively gone. He will not be dealing himself 3 damage this game unless he draws Reno.
But 1 mana, deal 3 damage, put a Flame Imp in your hand. I'd still play that card all day long.
That'd be pretty good for Zoo.
That'd be great for Zoo.
2 mana and kill their guy, play a 3/2. That's an alright card.
Rest in peace, Zoo, wherever you are.
Yeah, PUSHMAN, Falling Berserker already challenged on board via the hero power and Kazakus from Tom. He's not even really close to ending this game. He's got 6 damage between his weapon and the Mortal Strike, so 5 damage off of even popping the Ice Block here. And Tom's about to start the pressure train.
Yeah, this is...
Now 5 damage is just an Arcanite.
Yeah, but he has to worry about Ice Block. He's got to worry about defensive options. We're now in Alexstrasza territory.
Yeah, this makes a lot of sense for the way his hand is shaping up. He needs to get more value out of his current resources.
Yeah, he needs to just...
Wow.
He needs to just stick a threat, but this is going to get polymorphed. Certainly.
Don't really see another time that polymorph's getting used, and it does cut into the damage. I think there is some consideration for Frost Nova, but I think holding it for the Archmage Antonidas is so much better in a spot like this.
Probably Berserker's the biggest minion in the entire deck.
That's true.
It is. Not by starting stats, but it's the most threatening.
Yeah, eventually it gets frothy.
Yep. All right, well, Tom pretty much stabilized. Next turn, he can go Archmage Antonidas plus Frost Nova or another 2/12 if he picks it up. Freeze the face. Everything will be frozen, and he's just going to get a chain of fireballs.
Leroy is the only thing I think that PUSHMAN can do to pressure in this spot. If he picks up Leroy, What are the life totals? Pop the block at 5, and still have to pick up 5 damage.
No,
I
he
don't know
can't.
how that happens.
Yeah, he can't even pop the block because everything's frozen.
Yeah, it would take Leroy to pop it in that spot.
Yeah. Well, he's at 8, so it wouldn't even.
Oh, he's at 8. Oh, I'm sorry, I misread that life total. Yeah, that's done. Multiple fireballs chaining through.
Yeah. Blizzard frees up the board. Should be checkmate for Tom.
Double Kazakus will do it.
Yeah, double Kazakus into 1-mana potions. That Cabal Courier was a huge pickup for Tom. And was able, Reno Mage, with the right answers, can stifle early pressure from Pyre Warriors. That Arcanite Reaper, it's teasing him. 2 of them showed up last game, and none of them showed up this game.
Yeah, Pushman would have loved to have Arcanite Reaper on 5 in this matchup, just to keep that pressure rolling through. Instead finds himself getting answered by multiple 1-cost potions, and Tony coming to battle.
Yeah. All right, double Fireball plus the 8 damage on board will be enough. And Tom is going to take the series 3-0 over Pushman, the Tavern Hero from Japan, and is going to make his run throughout the Swiss bracket much more difficult with an 0-1 start.
Yeah.
But definitely an impressive performance from Tom.
Tom just bringing the lineup that we've been seeing have a ton of success over the course of the playoffs. He's got Aggro Shaman, he's got Pirate Warrior, he's got Reno Warlock, he's got Reno Mage. He's just bringing what he believes are the 4 best decks and letting them get their job done. Not trying to target anyone, not trying to do anything too fancy. All of his lists look pretty straightforward.
Nice consistent list. We'll be keeping track of Tom as he makes his way through the later rounds of the Swiss bracket. We're going to go ahead and check back in with Fro